Supreme Court heard its first case on public financing in many years on Monday. At issue was Arizona's clean election system. So-called clean system uses tax dollars to subsidize political campaigns. The ruling from the court could affect elections across the country. With us now is the lead attorney from the case challenging the Arizona statute, who is the director of constitutional government at the Goldwater Institute, Nick Dranias. Nick, welcome to Freedom Watch. It's a pleasure to have you here.
It's a real pleasure to be here.
Thank you. As I understand this Arizona law, if you and I were running against each other and I raised money, the government would match for you the money that I raised for myself. I mean, can that be? Do I have this right?
It's exactly right, and it functions like a fine because in the competitive context of politics, where there has to be a winner and a loser, anything that benefits me necessarily hurts you.
So the government is actually entering political campaigns with tax dollars and giving to one side and not the other. But put aside the whole concept of welfare for politicians. Put aside the whole idea of whether the government should even be in the business of having anything to do with financing campaigns. How could it possibly justify, under First Amendment grounds, siding with one candidate over another?
It can't. If there's one bright line rule in First Amendment present even today, it's that the government cannot restrict speech for the purpose of equalizing electoral opportunities. And that's exactly what Arizona's so-called Clean Elections Act does. It puts a thumb on the scales in the middle of an electoral contest that's supposed to check the power of government in order to favor government-funded candidates.
Well, what does Arizona say? I mean, what was their defense in a nutshell before the Supreme Court yesterday?
Their defense is it's more speech, don't worry about it. And let's just ignore the fact that it's the government manipulating the electoral contest that's supposed to check the power of government.
Now, you stood in that great courtroom, and we've all been there. It's a magnificent, awesome place, and the 9 justices who are on the screen now were facing you. What sort of feel or sixth sense, Nick, did you get from the Supreme Court as you were making your argument or as you were watching your opponent try to defend this absurd statute?
Well, as I watched the arguments, it was clear to me that the majority of the court saw right through the sham that is clean elections. The vast majority of the justices were very skeptical. As a matter of common sense, the state was claiming that nobody would be chilled in their speech, that nobody would be deterred by the thought that they might be causing the government to fund their political opponents. And they just, frankly, the look on their faces, which you can see as if they're only 8 feet away or so, the look on the faces of the justices was total incredulity. They could not believe that the state was claiming that my knowledge as a candidate, that the government's funding my opposition, would have no effect on my decision making.
We only have about 30 seconds left. If Arizona loses this, as I suspect and as you know, hope that they will, might this have a ripple effect throughout the United States? Might other state governments just stay the heck out of the business of financing statewide political campaigns?
Yes, and hopefully this whole idea of causing the government to match my speech with subsidies to my opponent will die on the vine. Believe it or not, this whole system was growing until this case came down.
Nick Dranias, we hope you prevail, and when you do, we'll have you back here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.